Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Rachel with Mic Drop Miniatures, and today I would like to show you how to make this cute little journal that has a two-ring binder journal with all the fun pages for you to write out your goals and inspirations for 2026. All right, so to get started, what you're going to need is a ruler. You're going to need a few jewelry tools. Not sure the exact name. I always call this the jump ring tool, and a cutter. You're going to need to grab an awl to punch holes. You're going to need some wire. I use 20 gauge wire. I wouldn't go any bigger than that, because then it's going to be hard to bend. You're also going to want a hot glue gun and good quality paper. And you can find the downloads in the packet for January. This is the Planning Nook. This is the Mini Makers Club. So on page 3, so here's 2, 3. Down here we have the journal and notebook section. Print these off on good paper. You can cut them by hand, or you also have a file inside your Mini Maker Club for the Cricut file. So either way, cut them out by hand or a cutting machine. And I do recommend using good quality paper. So this is 27 pound. I probably wouldn't go any heavier than that, because then you're going to have a really thick journal. So I love this Epson presentation matte paper. I would highly recommend that one. I wanted to show you, I love it because of its vibrant colors. If I can pick it up here. So as you can see, this green versus an orange that was printed on regular paper. Here again, this blue printed on Epson paper, and this was just regular 20 pound copy paper. So a huge difference. So the first thing you're going to want to do is grab your printouts and your cutouts, and you're going to stack them how you want your book to be laid out. So here's mine. And then next you're going to take your wire and you're gonna cut 1.5 inch piece wire. Okay. Then what you want to do is take your jump ring tool. Maybe I should look up the correct term for this. I would go about halfway. We can always adjust this later. So about halfway down your tool, and then you're just going to rotate it all the way around. Okay, so you have something like that. Then you're going to take it again, try to find it in the same spot, so both loops are about the same, and go all the way around. Okay, so you have something that looks like this. Then what you're going to do is this bottom piece down here, mine is flat. If yours isn't, you can always grab just a tool like this, something that has a hard edge. I'm going to stick it into that flat edge part right where the circle ends. Okay, and I'm going just to bend it at a 90-degree angle. Then I'm going to flip it around, and I'm going to do the same thing, making sure to bend so both loops are on the same side. So bend it at a 90-degree angle again. And now we have our little spine that our papers will go on. So mine are pretty close together. There's no way I would get paper in there. So I am just going to go ahead and make them just a little bit bigger so I can get my paper on. We can always shut this later. Okay, you did have a little piece, a template. Okay, on your printout, you did have what is called the spine template. So if you can either trace that, cut it out. What we are going to do is you kind of want that to be a little heavier than regular, just 20 pound or 27 that I have paper. So I lied, you're also going to need scissors. And just cut that out. This just gives us a little more stability. Now using that heavier size paper, using a cutting mat or something that you don't want to poke through, we're going to take and we are going to, if you want to write it out first, like just a dot and a dot. And I can bring this up so you can see. I'm putting a hole right where the loops are because this little spine is going to be part of it's going to be glued to the cover. Okay, so we're going to want the holes to be exactly where those loops are. So we're going to take our awl and with some force, make some holes. Making sure to go all the way through. Okay, so there's our little template. And I'm going to make slits here and here. Okay. Then with our stack of papers, making sure that all of our papers are really straight. All right, so holding them in place, I feel like those are pretty straight. We are going to line up our template here, and I'm going to poke holes right where the template is. Okay, so now I have my pages all poked out. I have my template cut. The next thing I want to do is we are going to take and put our papers through the holes. Okay, so there we go. And then what I'm going to do is close it. Closing it is important because you don't want your papers to come through. Okay, so now taking your spine, you have the cut edges. You're going to, I'm just going to get my little pokey tool here. Poke it so it kind of goes around, your little split edges go around the wire. This maybe takes just a little bit of patience. And again, if you don't like it the first time, you can always redo it. Okay, so now we have our spine on. If you feel like, say you only are going to make a small journal and you feel like your spine is way too big, you can go ahead and trim that off. Okay, so now what we're going to do is select our cover. I have several covers here in the printout, in the download. You would want to print this on a little heavier though than 27 pound. You could, however, put a few of them together, glue them together to get a little more thickness because you want a little thicker cover for sure. The one that I used is in my stash. I had found a really big sheet. It's very inexpensive. This whole sheet was $1. I could make 100 books. Is foam sheet. This is 2 millimeter. Maybe you could even get thinner. I'm not sure. So I'm gonna go ahead and use, we'll make another one of these, because what I learned is you can't use a really heavy binder clip because it will leave marks in your planner. And wherever you use glue, you will definitely see it. So this one looks pretty messy. So I thought I would try it again. This time I'm going to use super glue, hoping that I'll have a better result. So we will do this together. So because this is a lot thicker than paper, I think what I did before too is I just cut a piece out way bigger than my book. So that's plenty. Okay, and then once it dries, I will glue it into place. But I'm gonna fold it in half so I can kind of see where the center is. And then with my spine, I'm gonna add hot glue all along there. Come on, glue, there we go. Don't think we're going to need much. I wish I had a thin-tipped glue gun. Is that even a thing? Because if it is, I definitely want to buy one. All right, so put that right in the middle of your journal cover and hold it into place. What I love about hot glue, right, is it definitely dries a lot faster. All right, I think hot glue is going to be the way to go. So now we're going to cut it down to size. This might be a little trickier because I definitely want it to be straight, and I know that I don't want it to cut my pages, obviously. So we'll just go little by little until we have a desired size. That's probably good. And then getting it straight here. That is, you know, for this too, we could probably just open it up. Might be the easiest way. Okay, and we'll flip it around. Okay, so we close it again. That looks pretty good. So there's our little binder. Love it. So now I want to keep it closed. So I'm gonna just show you how I made, I'm gonna show you how I made the strap. So with our little findings, this would probably be the perfect size. Actually this, I think I might do a little thinner. Like this little piece would probably be the best. And then this I'm going to use for my little clasp. So what I did here is I'm going to take a little bit of hot glue. Again, I don't want it to seep over the edges because it definitely, you can see it on this foam. So put it where I want it, hold it into place. I also thought like little beads here to make it even more decorative would be fun. And then so I have a little bump. Maybe I even want that more. Do I have anything that's round? Pen, but that's probably way too big. We'll try that. Put some glue on the other end. And I'm just using a pen so it's not flat. And then hold that down. So now we have like a perfect hole for our strap. Maybe that's a little too big. If it is, I can always rip it off and redo it. But I think I kind of like it. So now for the strap, definitely going to need a little bigger one. So I'll cut a new one, thicker one. And then we're going to glue it to the back. So wherever we think we want it, I think I want it to end right here. kind of hold that in place for a second. And then when it dries, I can go ahead and cut off the ends. So cut this front one. And we'll cut this back one. So there is our cute little journal. There it is. So I can't wait to see which ones you guys make. Please put it, show me, tag me, Mic Drop Miniatures. I'd love to see your planners, especially if you're going to draw on them, write in them. That will make it even more special. There you go. Thank you for watching.